It turns out being in the Epstein files is a bad omen for the Super Bowl. The Seahawks took the win.
They absolutely took the win. And what you mean by that, I think, and I'm just going to read this headline just so we can cite our sources. We found out in the latest Epstein file dump, among many other things, that Jeffrey Epstein wanted Robert Kraft to hire his lawyer amid the Patriot owner's prostitution case. After the Patriot owner was charged in 2019, the lawyer he eventually hired was directly connected to one Jeffrey Epstein. So, yes, being in the files is not a winning move at all.
It's also just like, is there anyone that's not involved at this point? For
That
2
part.
weeks straight now, we've just been hearing name after name. And after we all just watched the Super Bowl, learning that the owner of the Patriots is in the Epstein files, I don't feel bad about them losing, but it also just affirms that there's so many sick fucks in all of these industries across the board, and it's insane.
It's the one thing that crosses party lines these days, apparently.
Apparently
But
so.
I don't really want to talk about pedos tonight. I want to talk about Bad Bunny because, as you know, I'm not a sports girly. I like track, but I was there for the Benito Bowl. What did you think?
Honestly, I loved it. I felt like I was almost watching a movie, right? Like it felt very cinematic to me. I felt like we were going through all of these different phases of his life. I don't know if I'm getting that correct, but it just felt like a really cinematic experience. And there was so many Easter eggs thrown in there. And I thought, I was like, have I had like a beer too many? I see Alex Earl, and then
She
you start
was.
seeing Cardi B and all of these people on the deck. And I was just, I really enjoyed the performance, and I didn't understand any of it because I don't speak Spanish, but I just felt like you didn't need to
You
know the
didn't.
language to understand that. I felt like it just went across all borders.
It was one of the most American things I've seen in a really long time. And I saw a post before we hopped on that said that actually Bad Bunny, the artist Bad Bunny, Benito, is more American than Donald Trump. And that's actually true if you look at his lineage, right? So it doesn't matter. It's not a contest over that. But I don't think I've seen a more American halftime show in a long time, except for maybe Kendrick's last winter. I fucking loved it. I loved it.
I loved it, and I think it was a show, at least in terms of the NFL, of what they are backing and the message that they wanna convey to the American public, which the Super Bowl is, I think, the most watched American sports event, television event of the year. They were competing with the Olympics tonight, and I think to me, it meant so much to know that I don't believe they support what's going on with the government and ICE. It was dripping in DEI. I don't know this for a fact, but it did not appear to have any um, Caucasian people outside of the few celebrities that we saw in there. Uh, I am really wanting companies and people of status to say the same things that all of us have been saying, and I think the Super Bowl really just nailed that on the head.
Absolutely. I was about to do a video about this earlier today, so I'll just do it now. The right wins the battles, but not the war when they fight the culture, when they use culture in their fight, right? So sure, they win the battles a lot of times by using racism and xenophobia and homophobia and all the phobias to win some elections here and there and get people scared about what's going on. But at the end of the day, I think the NFL ultimately is capitalism, right? The NFL is capitalism at its most American. And the fact that they made that decision where money is always a factor to say, no, Bad Bunny is our artist this year shows us that that the Republicans can fight these little battles against the culture and trying to create their white supremacist vision again in this country. They can fight to keep white supremacy alive. But at the end of the day, the culture is with multiracial democracy. The culture is celebration of what Bad Bunny did tonight at the Super Bowl. All the flags of all the American countries, right?
It was a sight to see, and not to put a negative spin on any of this, but when we're talking about culture, you hear MAGA and these Republicans talk about bringing back white culture. And I think a perfect example of that is creating this TPUSA halftime show to kind of combat what the NFL was trying to do. First of all, incorrectly saying that Bad Bunny wasn't American, which just shows the lack of
Hello.
education. But, you know, they created this entire event to combat this. And I've only seen a couple of clips from it because I wasn't about to for myself with
No.
watching that shit. But it showed Kid Rock. He looked like he was drunk on the stage. It was very obviously a backtrack. So he was lip syncing over this and he didn't even know the lyrics. So if you want to talk about, you know, comparing the two things, I saw a video about this and I saw a thread about this, and I don't know who said this, but you know, the people who wanted separate water fountains wanted a
Yes.
separate halftime show. And I just think that nails it on the head with that one, because you look at the difference in performances and energy and all of that, and it's just really night and day. I was just super excited to see the NFL, I feel like, embrace us as a culture together against the TPUSA
Yeah.
halftime show. You know,
Yeah. And
basically that's what it comes down to for
it
me.
does. And Bad Bunny ended his halftime performance with the quote, the only thing more powerful than hate is love. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. And he, you know, a lot of people were wondering, like, oh, what's he going to do to protest? And he protested. It was kind of a follow up. It was a follow up to his Grammys acceptance speech last week, where he really devoted the majority of his speech to love. And he just embodied that in his performance. His love for America, right? His love obviously for Puerto Rico, but his love for Puerto Rico, which is America, right? Like, hello. It's America, people.
It's kind of crazy that we even have to fucking say that, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And yeah, I mean, I think it was amazing. And I feel hopeful. I
I
know
do.
we don't say that a lot. I know this is polytoxic.
We're going on a field trip this week.
We're going on a field trip. We're going on a field trip and we're not going to tell you where.
Super Bowl for us, I
It
guess. I
is.
mean,
It
this is
is.
definitely a fun experience for us, but
Yeah, so you gotta watch this space. We will be together, so that's the only clue. We're going on a field trip together, and, stay tuned.
right. Happy Super Bowl.
Happy Bad Bunny Bowl. We'll see you soon.